Okay, so when it comes to bodyguarding and bouncing, how did Titanium Investigation Securities come about?
Well, at very first, that wasn't even the first name of the name of the company. The original name of the company was Style Security. That was founded in 1999. Um, what happened was I was bouncing in nightclubs, and a lot of people saw me, and they were like, they liked me. So they would ask me, "Hey, look, you want to run my security for this event, for that event, for this, stuff like that."
Mm-hmm.
So over the years, at first, like many people in the '90s, and even some people now, you get a business card, you write your name on it and telephone number, and come up with a name or a name for the company or something, and with, if you're lucky, with a logo, and you tell people you got a company. And back then you didn't have a company, you you had a business card, gift the gab. uh,
Right.
and then people would start saying, okay, well, what do you think, how many guys do I need, depending on the size of the event. And I did a lot of work with promoters, and then eventually I started doing a lot of work with nightclubs. And then eventually, like in 1999, I actually got the company made, like lawfully. um,
Okay.
So it all started from just being well known in nightclubs. And you're standing at the door of a nightclub, you're on the inside of a nightclub, you got a small team, whether it's 5 guys or 12 guys or 13 guys or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and people notice you. You're doing the same people see you all the time. But there's, they might, one guy might come to a club, whether it's the Palladium or the Tunnel that we were working at, or any of the other dozens of clubs that I worked back then. Um, and they say, hey, you want to do some work with me? Well, yeah, sure. We
Right.
booking numbers, and that's how it all started. Then you get a company, and um, it's all about being known. It's that facial recognition, in my
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's like that with everything. You see somebody who you know all the time, you see all the time, you think that they're proficient, and you hire them.
Right.
And that's kind
That's
of how it all started. Um,
yeah.
and then of course it went. Oh, you were in the military? Yeah, I was in the Marine Corps. Oh, really? Well, tell me a little about yourself. Well, I'm a martial artist. I started doing it this and this and this. You start giving them your credentials,
Right.
and they're like, "Oh, I want this guy. I want this guy in his team." And years ago, all the bouncers were pretty hardcore. Um, so you had a good team that you've been working with, and they know that if these guys are working at the Tunnel on Sunday night at the Mecca party, they can rock and roll. And
Right.
I want them at my party because maybe my party gets a little bit too much, or sometimes they'll just keep it so it doesn't get too crazy.
Right.
I'm very organized, um, especially when it comes to setting up the front, getting everything together, doing the money, watching this and that. And they like that. you know it's one thing when the party itself can be rowdy and chaotic,
Mm-hmm.
but if your security team is not like sharp, then you're screwed up. I mean, the party can have
Yeah.
a lot of energy, but if your security guys aren't ready to rock and roll at the drop of a hat, know what to do, know where to stand, know how to talk to people, and of course, like I said, have good facial recognition, like, oh man, I know that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a problem, he comes over and says, hey, look, I need you guys to chill out. Okay, okay, big homie. Okay, big homie. And whether it's me or one of the guys, they know who we all are because we've been doing this for 20, 30 years.
Right. You regulars.
Right,
Yep.
exactly. Every party they're at, we're at. And it helps.
Now this is off topic. Now, wearing shoes, did that affect how you operated, like on the floor or handling yourself?
Absolutely. Um, unless you're doing executive protection,
Right.
you don't wear shoes. I mean, now you wear shoes when you're wearing it depends. Some events that you were doing required suits, but not necessarily shoes. Um,
Right.
Higher end events, of course, anything I had done with Puffy, you wore a suit, a sharp suit, clean suit. Your hair is done, your nails are done. I mean, literally, he required all of these things. I want your shoes polished. You don't show up with like a cheap suit, or at least an unpressed suit, and and boots.
Yeah.
But some events you could wear a suit and boots, even though it was like, hey, you're required to wear a suit, but the party could still get a little out of hand, so you put your boots on instead of your shoes with slick bottoms.
Right. That's the whole thing. Because if you have slick bottom shoes, it's kind of hard for you to protect yourself.
It's over.
On the yeah. My dad had told me a story like that. He was like, they were letting these guys with sneakers in, and they wanted us to be there with shoes. He said, so, in rebellion mode, I didn't do anything. When it came down to fighting, I stood on the back and I just watched everything go down. And, everybody got pummeled. So,
Yeah.
pretty much.
I don't remember the name of the place. It's escaping me, but there was a place on, oh my, over in Union Square, the something ballroom. Maybe your dad know, whatever it was named. This place, when you went down there, the floors were like,
Not the Highline Ballroom.
no, 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 no. This is
Okay.
years and years and years and years ago. This is like in the early '90s.
Okay.
The something ballroom on like 16th Street over by Union Square. Um, and this place was like a sweat box. You'd go down like one and a half flights. It would all the way down. And this place, I mean, it just the walls would sweat, the
Right.
sweat. And I'm on sneakers or like hard rubber boots or whatever, and I'm running down there and just slipping and sliding into everybody.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, you could be the best fighter in the world, but if you hit that floor, it could be over.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you're getting jumped.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, tell me about your film career, because I seen you made a video the other day. It looked really good, so I just wanted to know more about that.
Well, my film career, as you call it, is in its infancy. I'm actually in film school. Um,
Okay.
Being a Marine, there's a program called VRAP, and they were giving veterans the opportunity to learn a new career and go to
Nice.
school. And because of COVID and the like, you were able first of all, you were able to choose. They gave you, let's say 100 different schools that you could go to, and each school had, let's say, X amount of 5, 10, one different type of career that you could go into.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose the film school. I'm a huge writer. I write every day, all the time. I've been writing since I'm a young kid. Um, Allegedly, I'm writing something for your magazine, supposedly coming out. So,
Yes, sir.
so um, writing is my passion. Other than my wife, writing is my absolute passion. My wife, my son, and the martial arts too. My business, that kind of thing. But
Right.
um, I wrote a bunch of. Uh, I've been writing a bunch of stuff, and then when I got the opportunity through VRAP, I'm in the San Francisco Film School via Zoom, so I don't actually have to be there. I just have to, take the courses every day. Our first semester was, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, 7 hours a day.
Nice.
Um, so I did that first one, and I haven't done anything scholastic since, I don't know, 1983.
Oh, man. I was just talking about that. I seen somebody taking a quiz on TV. I was like, I don't miss that.
Yeah, so I did that, and now I'm in my second semester where we actually start filming and stuff. So I wrote a small film, a 4-minute skit. It's a scene. It's called a narrative, and it's about anything that you wanted it to be. They give us certain parameters, and we have to write about it.
Mm-hmm.
It was all about conflict, whether it's physical, emotional, something with conflict. So I wrote what I know about, intrinsically. It's about bouncing.
Right.
So the whole thing is about a drunk that gets walked out of the club because he's drunk, and but he's not dangerous. He's just kind of a sad guy. He gets walked out, and the bouncer, who's a 30-year bouncer, my guy House, Troy Franklin, who's been bouncing with me on and off for literally 30 years, and he's a giant. He's 6'7", 475 pounds. He's massive.
Sheesh.
Um, and the guy that I had playing against him, Rasmus, who was the drunk from Sweden, is 5'8", 100 and, I don't know, 50, 60 pounds. So it's what we're putting together. In fact, my wife and I are currently editing it, and
Right.
and that's where I'm at on it as far as my film career. It's really in its infancy, and while we love what we're doing right now, I'm still a writer.
Right.
My wife is a better editor, and she loves sitting there at the computer and plugging away, and I love writing.
Yeah, well, either way, it's great work that you're putting out there.
Thank you.
That's for sure. And we're gonna go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll come right back.